John Wayne lied to you.
Wow. Oh, shit. Hello. Welcome to John Wayne Lied to You, the podcast featuring me, John Wayne, non-extreme horror writer, punk rock extraordinaire, however you want to take that, and awesome dude for life. Always welcome back, everyone. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I'm adjusting this camera on the fly because I kicked it. I've been gone for a minute, guys. I know, and I was like, yeah, we're starting all this new stuff, and please tune in. Well, here's what happened. Life happened, man. But no, I had to move suddenly. If you see, you notice the surroundings behind you, they're not the same neon palace of sin that you're used to seeing. It is a new age for the neon palace here. I hope you're watching this on video because you can see how glorious it is. I was back here. I got some toys. I knocked a bunch of them over right before this started. That was awesome. But no, we had to move. My wonderful, lovely Scarlett and myself and Boney and Daisy and the whole gang, Coco too, we all had to move. It was quite unexpected. Kind of came out nothing we planned to do, nothing we planned for. Nothing that we were expecting at all, but that's how it is. So for a while, we had less than 30 days to get out and move, and it was extremely tough and stressful, and there was a lot of moving parts. There was a lot going on. I had to travel, but you know what? It all worked out for the best. We found a great place, way better than the last place. Very, very close to the Neon Palace of Sin. In fact, only a block over, some would say. But here we are, and we're back now. For real, because we're settled in, still getting it. I'm still in the middle of I'm hanging stuff up. I'm still hanging pictures and putting all my things, my accoutrements around. But the new Neon Palace will be ready very soon. But I didn't want to wait anymore. New Neon Palace, should we call it the NNP? I think so. I think I like that. Anyway, I didn't want to take any more time to take away from being here and talking to you guys, whoever is out there listening, whether it be audio or video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Plus, I've been on the road. I've done several shows that I need to catch you guys all up on. And I know I've met new people who might be checking out the podcast for the first time. And I want to welcome you and say thank you for checking it out. And I appreciate it very much. Hopefully you stick with it and enjoy. Today, we're doing episode 330. 330 episodes is a lot, it feels like. But time flies, you know what I mean, baby, when you're having some fun. So yeah, it's good to be back and welcome everybody. Of course, there are some, a little bit differences around here, but just zoop. I have got a nice hot piping cup of coffee, black coffee, in my John Wayne is Dead mug. Go to johnwayneisdead.com for your own. Let's have it. No, that's good. It's good coffee. Actually, this is a decent coffee. The coffee I made in the coffee pot this morning, very good. I got a new coffee pot. It's killer. This is a Keurig one, but you know what? Not too bad. Because I was like, I got to get a coffee right before we go on, baby. And I already drank everything in the pot. Oh, tell me about it if I had a nickel. Yes. Anyway, that coffee is here and the coffee is good. Now, you might be wondering, John Wayne, where's your piping, peeping, popping, full pipe of Grandpappy's medicine? That's right, that good old green. Well, here at the new Neon Palace, we're still breaking it in, still getting things, together, as I said. But with this new locale, we have something that we did not have at the other home, and that was and is space. Oh, there's so much space. And part of that space is a very, very awesome backyard that happened to come with its own gazebo. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if, just we did our little smoking check-in, or the weed world of weed, or whatever you want to call it, the grandpappy's medicine. We are going to do it out in the gazebo here in the New Neon Palace's Neon Gazebo. Let's go there right now. Boom! Here we are, like I said, in the new get up outside. Look, you see that? That's the stratosphere in the background, you fucking crazy freaks. Anyway, today, oh, look at this brand new pipe I have. Does that look like an ice cream cone? It is. Licky licky. I love it. Let's see what we have today, my friends. Of course, once I got back into town, I had to go to Local Oasis, my spot here in downtown Las Vegas, where I get everything. I picked up a few really good things, some good strains, a couple good deals, but today I am actually smoking. This is from Tahoe Hydra, and it is papaya. That is what this is, the strain, and it is sitting at a good 28%, my friends. Oh, I love that. I love being out here in the outdoors in this wonderful gazebo. Let's hope this wind doesn't blow my light out. Up. Oh. There we go. This is good. It's a little harsh because I'm coughing, but it might be because I pulled too hard on this, but tastes piney. Good, good smooth taste. I love that. And it smells so, so good, guys. I've never had this brand before, this Tahoe Hydra, but I gotta say, papaya. Oh, yes. So, of course, now we're all set and ready. Let's get back in there and get the show going. And we're back. Whoo! I feel a lot better. I hope you do as well. Ready? Whoo! For the show here, nice and limbered up. So, anyway, friends, welcome again to the show. I want to give a very special shouts out to all of my Patreon supporters. You have come in clutch for me time and time again. I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate any and all support, everyone. I do. But I want to give a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. And stuff out there for a pimp, as I've said before, so every little bit counts. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, please do. Go to patreon.com/johnwayneliedtoyou, and you could pick one of the tiers, or hey, go to johnwayneliedtoyou.com. You're probably already hanging out on there anyway, seeing what's up, Go there, hit the little link, take you right to the Patreon. You could join which tier that you would like to be a part of. Everybody gets something no matter what, including access to the Awesome Dude for Life Boner bonus podcast, in which I talk to other artists from around this great land and world of ours, of all different kinds of disciplines. And it's a lot of fun, and there are well over 150. I think there's 150 episodes now. So you get all the back episodes. They're half of them are video, or part of them are video, as well as audio, just like this podcast has turned into. And it's a lot of fun, and everybody gets access to that, no matter what tier you're on. But I also give early access to some of videos, covers, artwork, things like that. I put up songs that are new for John Wayne is Dead first beforehand, so they get a look. It's a lot of fun, and you help support old Uncle Johnny, his foray into the arts, as he does want to do. But check it out, patreon.com/John Wayne is Dead. Also, hey, we're going to give this a hard push, I feel, very soon. I've been talking about it, hard push, huh? I've been talking about it before, it's out there, but my OnlyFans with my good friend Dana Marie King, Dana Graham, aka parenthesis 6, Octoboros, all that shit. Our OnlyFans is Puss and Goose, Puss, the letter N, GOOSE, and you can jump on there and subscribe and watch videos, tantalizingly so, of myself and Dana reading erotic fiction and painting pictures and making you so what's the word? Wet. That's it. So please check it out. Go to OnlyFans and check out Puss in Goose, PUSSNGOOSE. It's another way you can support little o me. So thank you guys. Let's see. What else do we got here? So I was talking about, John Wayne is dead. We've got a new video coming up. We'll talk about that later. I was talking about the Awesome Dude for Life show. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to give you guys an update on Game Face, my new novel has finally come out. And I'm actually, it's come out, and I'm finally getting back to you to tell you about it because, where we last left off, I was in the throes, if you will, of planning and putting together the entire release event with, of course, Schwa and Sugar of Avant Pop Books, who are the publisher of Game Face here in Las Vegas, beautiful Las Vegas. And it was a lot of work, and we were just going at it. Let me get a sip of this coffee, y'all. And I know I kind of built it up and was showing you guys teaser videos, but now I'm back to let you know how it all went. And I have to say it went awesome. Thank you to everyone who made it an awesome event, whether you were there physically or you pre-ordered the book or you just thought good thoughts on that night about me or, maybe you whatever. You were excited for the release. I appreciate all of you. It was an awesome time. In case you don't know, just let me, if you're new to the whole spiel here, I just had a brand new book come out called Game Face. It came out on March 8th, and it was published through Avant Pop Books here in Las Vegas, in association with Awesome Dude for Life Press. Tax purposes, pay the girl. Anyway, this book is about a young man named Blake, and his uncle has just passed away, and he and his uncle were very close. In fact, they bonded over game shows as he grew up. So he goes to his uncle's apartment to look around, and he finds a VHS tape that's been left behind, and he sees that it's been recorded with game shows, so he wants to watch those and remember his old uncle there. He puts in the tape, and suddenly he is sucked onto the tape. And on this tape, the game shows have been recorded on top and over each other, on top of each other so many times. Everything's a mess. They're being chased through the tape. He finds out that his uncle is on there as well, and he has to get him out of the tape before the tape ends. Or both of them are going to be going around like this forever. Of course, there's a lot of surprises in there. There is, of course, some ancient evil that might have a part in all of this. And, it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit different. It's got more lightheartedness. I know that I tend to inject humor here and there into my stuff naturally. That's just kind of like the way I write. But this is just kind of funny. It's like not goofy, but silly. Silly's a good word. And I'm very happy about it. So I'm happy to talk about it. I loved watching game shows as a kid. It was one of the things I did to kill time in the summer. Like in the morning, you watched, we had a game. I don't even think Game Show Network was a thing yet, but game shows would be playing during the day. So my sister and I would watch all of them. Supermarket Sweep amongst one of our favorites, of course, and Press Your Luck because of the whammies. I mean, even as a child, I loved the little red devils, the cartoon smiles, and big old hammers, and it's so that, and also the movie Stay Tuned, which I know Mom did. Mom's movie corner a little while back to promote the book. Huge influence on me. In that, but also just all kinds of any movies or TV shows where the people get sucked into television somehow and things are just not right. That whole trope has just captured my imagination since I was young, and this is my ode to that. I guess this is my version of that kind of a sucked into the television trope, and it's out there now for release now. As of this record, good news, bad news sitch. We got a good news, bad news sitch here, guys. The good news is the book is out. It's available on johnwayneliedtoyou.com. It's available on avantpopbooks.com. It's available on amazon.com. It's available on Kindle. However, it is officially sold out from the John Wayne Is Dead website right now. Avant Pop may have a few copies that you can still get from them, and those will be signed. But I am out. You guys sold me out, and I appreciate that. Just a couple shows in, boom, my whole first batch is gone, which is great, and I appreciate all the support. But those will be back in stock very soon because I'm hitting the road here again pretty soon. So those will be in stock. Just check my social media. Of course, we'll announce when those are back in stock. It's very important. So at John Wayne Is Dead on Instagram, TikTok, John Wayne Communale on the old Facebook. But it was a success. We had a live game show that I put on with a video element. It was interactive. I had a lot of people help me out. Shouts out to Schwa and Sugar, of course. Shouts out to Spacecraft. Shouts out to Pepper, my man, warming up that crowd. Shouts out to the lovely Scarlett for being one of the contestants. And shouts out to everyone who was a special part. Oh, and shouts out to my man Nikki, who was on the ones and twos back there. He was mixing up the songs, and he also was in charge of the video element, starting and stopping those. It was a great release. Like, I like doing shit like that, guys. I am a theater brat. I've said it time and time again. I like playing characters. I like make-em-ups and being on stage and performing, and this was just like a whole way to scratch that itch, perform live, and here's a book. It's all for this book I wrote. So going into it, it maybe had some ambitiousness to it because of how large in scope the whole idea of having a live game show happening in front of a live audience is. We tackled it, got it done, and it went off without a hitch, and everyone had fun, including myself. So there are all the videos. If you guys want to check out the videos that were included in the show that night are now on the John Wayne Is Dead YouTube channel. So you could go there and check those out. The two readings that I did, some people have, some of you are familiar with the way like a book release event works, or what it's called a reading event. Some of you aren't. So what typically happens in a book release is, here's the author, they're there, they have their books, and they'll do one, maybe two readings from the book. And that, I mean, they sections or passages, and they maybe read for 10 minutes, hopefully. God damn, like no more than 10 minutes. It's tough for, sometimes it's hard to pay attention to readings. And that's just how it is. I try to keep them interesting, which is why the ones I did for the Game Face release are actually filmed as commercials that include me reading as part of the product. So they're both about 6.5 minutes long. You can check those out, like I said, on the John Wayne Is Dead YouTube right now. Also, don't forget John Wayne, Shit in John Wayne's Room, still on there. Go to that. That's all on John Wayne Is Dead's YouTube, the John Wayne Is Dead YouTube channel. Get it together. And that's coming back too. Now that I'm settled, I, of course, have a whole new space to present you with the shit that's in my room. So let's see. Let me see. Where are we at? So I mentioned earlier. So Game Face is out. Please check it out if you haven't. It's the reviews that people are giving are positive, if that's what you're looking for, if that helps move the needle for you. But please check it out. It's I feel like it's one of my best, and it's a lot of fun. So anyway, moving right along. I mentioned earlier, of course, my band John Wayne Is Dead. Myself and the magnanimous, luxuriously exotic and fine man Christopher Jetson, myself. We have, first of all, I'd like to announce, if you're in Las Vegas, or you're coming to Las Vegas, you should come to Las Vegas on May 14th, because John Wayne Is Dead will be performing live at the Red Dwarf, one of our favorite places. It's going to be awesome. It's a Wednesday night. Get your ass out there. It's going to be great. But to hold you off until then, we have a brand new music video. Now, this music video actually premiered last week on my man Cat's Pajamas, the Narnar TV YouTube channel, GNARR. My episode just went up on that, where we had a duel to the death of drinking disgusting things, and you're just gonna have to tune into that to see who won. But he premiered the video on that episode, and it's for our song Last Plot on the Left. And this is a video that's mostly just a story video that rather than a lot of shots of us playing as a band, it's more us acting in this story that's happening. We shot this at Chris's house a couple months back when I was up there for something, I forget. But anyway, we filmed it there. It was a lot of fun. And that was the only place that you could see it, was on Cat's Pajamas Narnar TV. But now you can see it right here and everywhere else, because it's going to be out there on the John Wayne is Dead YouTube. But let's watch the video. Or if you're just listening to the audio feed, you can listen to the song. It's still going to be there. It's awesome. I hope you think so, at least. This is the new video for John Wayne is Dead's Last Plot on the Left. Check it out.
I'll never forget you, but not for the things you hope. Often overused as apathy for the feelings you invoke. How much longer till the next one? How much longer till it's done? You walk around like this is dangerous, but you know I'm just having fun. Never thought I'd catch you when you stopped seeing the worth. Just when everything was going fine, you pulled out the rug and left. What am I supposed to do now? What choice do I really have left? Once I get you where I want you, you wish that we never met. So meet me in the graveyard at the last plot on the left. I will knock down my tombstone and I leave you to clean up the mess. You can have words left. Now we're on the same page, now that we're all caught up. I'll take the lead just like I always do. I would hate to cause a fuss. Way to take it like a mentor. Well, you've got spirit, kid, it's true. It's just too bad you can't get that far in a race that's already through. So meet me in the graveyard at the last plot on the left. And we'll knock down my tombstone and I'll leave you to clean up the mess. So meet me in the graveyard at the last plot on the left. And we'll knock down my tombstone and I'll leave you to clean up the mess. You can have what's left.
There you go. That was the new John Wayne is Dead music video featuring myself and Chris Jett for Last Plot on the Left. Last Plot on the Left, of course, is from our new record, Who Hurt You, which is available now in cassette, coming soon in vinyl, and it is streaming everywhere. So when you search us, it's John Wayne is Dead, all one word, no spaces. And if you want to see the video again, because you're like, gosh darn, I gotta watch it again, it's on the John Wayne is Dead YouTube page right now as we speak, and you can watch it there. So anyway, speaking of videos, I mentioned my Patreon earlier, and the Awesome Dude for Life Boner Bonus podcast, where I get to talk to other artists. And you know, listeners of the show know I like to tease you a little bit, let you know what's going on over there on Patreon this week, who I talked to, and also let you get to know the people that I get to talk to as well. So this week I talked to a new good buddy of mine, author Eric Butler. He is out of Texas, and he rolls with, of course, he's one of the Four Horsemen in the Four Horsemen anthology that includes Patrick C. Harrison III, Patrick PC3, If You're Nasty, Mike Edenbach, Chris Miller, and of course Eric Butler. He's a part of that. Plus, he has several of his own books, and we got to chat for a good while and had a nice little discussion. He's a great guy, and you should check out his work. But for now, let's take a little listen of my chat with author Eric Butler. But I want to talk more about you first. So, I've read some of your stuff. I have the Pope Massacre here, right here. I've haven't finished it, partway through it. I've
cool.
read your stuff that you've done with the Four Horsemen anthology. Or is that an anthology, or I don't know what you call that?
You know what? I guess it is an anthology, but I guess it's either a collection or an anthology. I always said
collection,
it was anthology.
maybe, or I don't know what that is.
It's a really cool idea, though. The four of us were given. We had to write the apocalypse based on the horsemen, and we were all given a different horseman.
Yeah.
And what I thought was really cool about it, we didn't discuss it, but none of us wrote in the same style. So I'm more extreme. Chris has got that epic Stephen King kind of, broad approach.
9,000 pages of stuff. Yes.
And the reason why we love Chris so much, all that. And then Patrick went quiet with it. It was a real subtle kind of horror that was really, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite reads of last year. And then Mike, of course, is Mike, and nobody does a funnier death story than Mike Edenbach. And so when he got death as his horseman, and I was like, oh, it's going to be perfect. And it was a perfect ending to the book too, because we really do take it on this really fun kind of emotional roller coaster, and it's fun to end on that high with Mike and the way he does his stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're speaking about Mike, high is definitely going to be part of the conversation. You're like we were talking early, like before the record. Yeah, you are the last of the Four Horsemen for me to get.
Yeah, I just got lucky.
The show, so last, but last is best, or best for last.
Sure,
we went and saved the best for last, and it's you, dude. Yeah, so that I was saying also, like you guys couldn't be more different in your styles and like the way you're just four different guys.
The personalities are amazing. What's weird is that we all kind of clicked.
How did you all come together? Let's talk about that. Because I know Patrick from like the Death's Head days, and and then I rolled over into all that. So we've just been friends for a long time. That's how I know him. How did all you guys
Well, it's a funny story because Patrick, Mike,
each other.
Mike, Patrick, and Chris were already buds. They were already working together as Cerebus.
And I have that too. I have that one too.
Yeah, David Merrill contacted me, and he said he wanted to do a small event with authors in Texas.
Okay.
He couldn't figure out how to get a table anywhere. They either were sold out, or they were, they weren't really looking at indie stuff at the time, whoever he was trying to get a hold of. So he decided to put together a small party. And he was going to have people come out and do a signing for like a day, a Sunday, like at a hotel or something. And I said at the time, when I had actually just gotten into the indie horror scene, and at the time, all I kept seeing was Cerebus everywhere. So I said, you can't do an event in Texas if you don't have Cerebus there. And so that's it. I made him contact him and get the three guys there. And then from that point on, we were able to start, we did that event. I shared my table with Mike, because we weren't sure he was going to come or not. I said, hey, just come hang out at my table and we'll sell books, and got to know him that way. And then it just kind of blossomed from there. Right
on. Yeah. So when is this all happening? Like give me like a context of time frame.
2021, maybe 2020. Okay. It was after COVID. It was after everything started to kind of reopen.
Okay, so are you writing before this? Is this something that you've done? I just read like maybe like your bio. I know like you're from a military family, so you bounced around a lot. Was this something that you were interested in? Were you like,
no, it was one of those weird things.
I hate my family because I'm like, I have a bunch of journals we can read. No,
actually, I wrote a lot when I was a kid. My mom was very supportive, made me go to those after school programs or maybe summer programs where you're like in writing camp and things like that,
Yeah.
things we could, different things just to occupy my time. I always enjoyed doing it. When I got older, I kind of stopped. When I got out of college, I was working a full-time job, running a mailing house, and that pretty much ate up most of my free time too.
Hmm.
Um, my wife has always tried to get me back into writing. My son has Crohn's, and it got really bad in 2018 or so, and he had to stop going to school, and we had to start doing homeschool stuff. And so
Yeah.
I stepped away from my job to help him finish high school. And then in my free time, I decided I would write.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I did. And then so I now all of a sudden I had some time to write and focus
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
stories and stuff. First book came out in 2019. I released it December. So really, right at the end of 2019, I put my first The Shadow Within in.
Uh,
I put that book out, and it's kind of my love letter to Richard Lehman, who's my
mhm.
favorite extreme horror writer. And at that time, I didn't even realize things like books of horror existed. I didn't network. I didn't have any of that stuff. I just wrote the book. I
Mhm.
wasn't social media savvy at all or anything. So then I just started writing another book because I didn't know what else to do. I just released Shadow, and then I just went to write the next book, which was the Poplick Massacre.
Mhm.
It was during that period of time, though, I realized books of horror existed. I started talking to other authors like Candace Nola, and they kind of put me in the direction where I could figure out what I was doing. And so, and from there, that's when I started talking to people like Merrill and learning with these other Texas authors and kind of connecting with Cerebus online, but not really, we weren't friends. We were just kind of chit chatting on social media. And
Mhm.
then we made and start doing stuff after Texas AuthorCon, the first one.
That's awesome. I'm a Houston boy. I was raised in Houston,
Oh, yeah.
Texas. Yeah, so I am familiar with the Texas area and the Texas scene. And I don't know, I'm having a love-hate relationship with Texas right now, but it's complicated, I guess. But I so you do extreme horror, Richard Lehman. Who are your other author influences? I guess
What's funny is I'd say
did
extreme
you
horror.
just started writing and it was like I'm writing extreme horror? How did that
Yeah.
come about naturally? That was like kind of
Well,
progression,
in my mind, everything's horror. You can take anything and twist it and make it into horror.
right?
And then and in horror, horrific things happen. In my mind, I don't think of this extreme horror. I just think this is where the story goes. In fact, it's
Mm,
one of the things I don't like about extreme horror now is it's been kind of kidnapped, hijacked, into the gross out horror. It doesn't always mean that to me. To me, it means you're getting a good story and it's going to take you to dark places. That's what I think of when I think of extreme horror.
I like that
Um,
analogy. Kidnapped. It's very well put.
Yeah, well, it just definitely feels that way because I was using extreme horror initially because I wanted people to understand that they weren't getting a PG movie. They're getting into an R-rated, more complex sex, and there's, cursing and violence, anything that might off-put
Wait,
you.
wait,
It's in
wait,
this
wait,
book.
wait. There's complex sex. Look, dude,
Well, I didn't mean that,
I'm
but yeah,
trying to get regular
the
math
different levels. That's a
sex
subgenre. Yeah, I know,
together.
right?
I can't take new math sex now. What the?
Yeah,
Oh,
it takes you to the next level. It's
oh
something that you need to look into.
nice.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna read up
but
on it.
yeah, so I just I I think what happened was initially I would write these things like short stories and stuff, and they would be kind of extreme in nature. But until I read Richard Lehman, I didn't figure out exactly what I was doing. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
read the first one, Darkness Tells Us, and a light bulb went off. And I had The Shadow Within like partially finished. I had been sitting in a drawer for years.
Hmm.
I think I'd done like 8,000 words. Then I was kind of stuck. I didn't know what to do with it. But after I finished that, it was like I couldn't stop writing. I had to get and The Shadow Within kind of follows that idea of like a layman thing. If you read that, you think layman. That's my goal, at least. I want people to kind of when they read that book, I want them to say, "Oh, this reads like a layman." That's kind of what I was going for at the time. Um,
That
but yeah,
aha
so
moment is so crucial and
yeah,
awesome.
I think so too.
I had the same thing like when the first time I read Jeremy Robert Johnson, and I was like, oh, this is where the kind of shit I write goes. Boom, here we
Right,
go. Like,
it's perfect. Yes,
Angel
because
Dust
at the time,
Apocalypse, and it's like, all right, I got you.
I'm
That's
going to
now I
guess when
found a
you're
thing.
I'm going to guess when you were younger, you read Stephen King, right? We all read Stephen King when we're young and kind of get
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
horror train.
of
But I
course.
don't think I'd ever found anything. There was a long drought of horror for me. I was probably reading more fantasy, historical fiction, or nonfiction, stuff like that for a good chunk of my 20s and 30s. And then that's when I stumbled across Richard Lehman when they kind of reintroduced him with the leisure stuff.
Hmm.
And so, of course, at the same time, what are you discovering? You're finding Brian Keene, and they put out Ed Lee. Ed Lee. When I read the first Ed Lee, that
Holy
was another one
shit,
of those where
dude.
I was like, okay, I get it. There's not only did Richard Lehman like to do the aha moment, but then I said, okay, cool. There is a path to this. There is a group of individuals that know what they're doing in this kind of format.
Yeah,
And
dude, the first time I was reading Ed Lee, I was like in the Mexico City airport,
oh yeah,
and I was like looking. I was like, should I be reading this? Like that's
right,
how intense it was, and
yeah.
I was like 22 years old at the time or something. I was like, what?
See,
But
and I
those are the
think
things
that's
that break
funny
your brain.
too.
It's like the like I've talked about this, the Doom generation was the movie that broke my brain when I was 18. And I was like, oh, movies can be this. Ed Lee does the same thing where you're
Yes,
like,
100%.
like Layman's exact same thing, and it's different for everybody. Um,
And I
you
think the
know,
funny thing with Lehman is if you see the back of his book, he looks like a teacher or an accountant.
yeah.
And I always feel like I give off a teacher accountant vibe. So I was like, okay, cool. So we can
Yeah.
all do this. We can all
No,
be in
and
the same little
we
pool
all
and
know
jump in and stuff.
you're a mercenary for hire. We all know that, but
That's
you're
true.
mild mannered, so let them think what they want. But yeah,
What was
so
the Ed Lee you read first?
oh man, maybe it was Bullet to the Face. Uh, it's back here. I, so Eric, I smoke a lot of weed.
Oh,
So
yes, I
titles and
understand.
things elude me, but I very distinctly remember, and I don't know where it was from, but they had somebody was kidnapped into a sex dungeon place. I know I just described like every fucking Ed book, but this guy came in who was like maybe a jazz singer or something, and he had this humongous dick, and his thing was like having somebody else fuck his urethra. And
Yeah, see, right there, right there.
and,
It's the
and
crazy stuff Ed Lee
I was
does.
like, okay, hey, we're back. That was myself speaking with Eric Butler, author out of Texas, part of the Four Horsemen anthology. I've had the other three horsemen on. Now I finally had Eric to complete the trifecta. That's not a trifecta, right? It's a fourfecta. A fourfecta. And the prophecy is complete. So please check out Eric. And if you'd like to listen to the rest of our discussion, go on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/JohnWayneIsDead. Now it's time to get into our next segment. A fabulously wonderful reading segment. As you know, I like to read a lot of books, and then I like to tell you about some of them, what I think about them, and give you the low down. Now, I went to AuthorCon last week. We'll talk about that, but there's something different that I did was I flew. I didn't actually drive because I had to be in LA the next week, and driving 40 hours to Williamsburg and then 40 hours back, it just wasn't going to happen for me. So I drove out there. But I mean, I flew out there. On the flight, I read 3 books on the way there and 2 books on the way back. So I had quite a bit of new book things to kind of spin around in the old duder's head. But today I'm gonna talk about one of those books that I did just read on the plane to AuthorCon that I found to be quite fun, enjoying, and intriguing. So let's go to our next segment. What you reading for?
What you reading for?
Anyway, what you reading for this week? We're talking about Hyde Cove by Joseph Passavano. So, Joseph, you may know Joseph. He's been on the Awesome Dude for Life podcast before. And of course, I've talked to him because he and I have done events together before. Of course, awesome dude. And I narrated one of his books. And until now, that was I think really the only thing I'd read of his. But I had this book, Hyde Cove, that he had signed for me, and I read it on the plane, front to back, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend this book. Basically, this is a book that ties in like the evil family getting revenge, small town twist, who's, maybe they're dead or not, type of, it's all of that compressed and happening in this small town within 2 days, I believe. But basically, we follow this lead detective who's going to become the new sheriff of the town, and there's a bad family that's been in their little town of Hyde Cove, and they've been banished or kicked out, or maybe they're missing. They don't know, but they're just not there anymore. And then suddenly, on the weekend of the town's biggest event, their fall festival or something like that, to celebrate the town, everyone's going to be there in the whole small town. These 3 masked figures come to town and start killing people. Kidnapping and killing people, and then at the event broadcast to everyone that they are there to kill all of them, and hilarity ensues. But no, this is a book. I don't want to give too much away, but it may, looking at it and the masks and stuff, it kind of maybe conjures up a little bit of The Strangers, but doesn't really have that much of a Strangers vibe to the story. Really. It's fast paced, it's bloody, it's intriguing. It goes further than I thought it was going to go as far as like how it actually winds up shaking out. So like I said, I had an excellent time with this book. And I recommend checking it out. Check it out. Hyde Cove by Joseph Passavano. You can get it, or you can get banned. No, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. I love you. Anyway, that's this week's What You Reading For?
What you reading for?
Okay, moving on to our next segment. Hey, everybody's favorite. We know, we love her, we know her, we can't get enough of her. Mom has made the move along with us here. Please bring her on out, Mom. Here you go. It's time for Mom's Movie Corner. Thank you, John Wayne. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mom's Movie Corner. So good to be back. Oh, my goodness, the move. Oh, it was tough, but we did it. And we're so happy to be here and be back. And thank you for watching again. Anyway, Mom's Movie Corner this week. As you know or don't know, I used to have to watch all my boys' movies before they did when they were kids, so that I could make sure there was nothing in them that might be naughty. And I, in turn, fell in love with these type of movies, and I watch them still to this day, and I like to talk about them to you. So this week, we are talking about a very scary movie that involves something that also can be very scary. The telephone. It's called 976 Evil. Oh my gosh, that title alone. This came out in 1988, and it is directed by the one and only Robert Englund. You remember who he was, Freddy Krueger? Yeah, I know. So he is the director. He voices a character in this movie as well. But anyway, nonetheless, this movie also stars Pat O'Brien and Stephen Jeffries, who you might remember from Fright Night. He was the friend that turned into the demon and the thing on his head and the upside down cross. Oh, that was so scary too. Anyway, he is in this, and you know what? He becomes a demon as well in this movie. He might be getting typecast. Ooh, I wonder how his career turned out. Anyway, best not to think about that. So, here's the plot. Our hero, his name, I don't think there's actually any heroes in this. So there's a young man, and his name is Slick or Snake or Spike. That's what he goes by. And he's a real ne'er-do-well. He rides a motorcycle and makes a lot of noise. And his cousin lives across the street from him. His name is Hoax. That's who Stephen Jeffries plays. And he's young, and he's really nerdy, and he doesn't know how to get girls, and maybe there might be something wrong with him. He might be a little bots, if you ask me. Anyway, Spike finds this phone number, this card in a magazine that says horoscope, but it's spelled Horror, right? I know. And there's a pentagram, and it's 976 Evil. Call the number. Call the number. I remember back when, John Wayne was so young, he used to call the 976 Tiffany number. He loved Tiffany. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. Oh, I don't want to get it back. Anyway, he got in trouble for that. So, calls the number, he gets his horoscope, but his horoscope is not really a horoscope. It's kind of like weird advice. It's kind of like, very cryptic, and you don't even know if it's advice or suggestion. Who knows? But he ends up going to steal money because the recording tells him that he'll get away with it. So he does this a few times. No big deal. He tells the guy, fuck off. He throws it away. His cousin, young Jeffrey, or young Hoax, as he's known in the movie, finds the number. He calls it. And like I said, he's not too good with the ladies. He's a little nerdy. He ends up, the devil is on the other end of the line and ends up convincing him to do all these horrible things. And he starts doing rituals, and he kills a spider, and he kills a girl, and he has salt and pentagrams and all kinds of, and a thing. And then a cat eats it, and he turns into this demon. And he is so scary. And then Spike has to try to convince him that he's himself and he should come back, but he can't do it, and he's a demon, and maybe he's not, I don't know. But hilarity ensues as the ground opens up and swallows everybody down into hell. And that's not a spoiler. Anyway, 976 Evil. Oh, I definitely like this one. This is one of those ones that I really, just has the creepy stuff, the practical effects that I like, and oh, that scary devil. Could you imagine calling the devil on the telephone? What would you say? Hi, devil. Hot enough for you? I don't know. It's too scary for me. Anyway, 976 Evil. While it's a scary one, I recommend it. Good one to watch. And also, unplug your telephone before you start watching. Not just kidding. Anyway, that's been Mom's Movie Corner for this week. Thank you all. Bye. Thank you, John Wayne. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thanks, Mom. Won't be using the phone too much around her anymore. Don't check the bill, Ma. Anyway, that was Mom's Movie Corner. Thank you very much, Mom. Moving right along to a lot of stuff to talk about here as the last chunk of the podcast as it goes. I usually tell a story about something from my life, or now that I've been started traveling again, I like to recap all the places that I've been, tell you the stories from the road. But like I said, I've missed some weeks. There's been so much going on. I can't talk about all of it in one episode. So we'll break it into chunks here, like into other chunks. I'm getting all chunks on here. But like I said, we're back. We're back on it. I moved in, so we're not going away again. I have plenty of time to tell you guys all about everything that I've done in these last few weeks over the next couple of episodes. But this week I want to talk about two things, two fun things that all happened when I went to Texas a few weeks ago to record a song and attend as a guest at the Ghoulish Book Festival. First of all, this is very, very cool that Chris and I got to do this. So Chris, Chris is very knowledgeable about music. He knows a lot about labels and stuff, and I like, you guys know I like to talk about music as well. Chris is more versed in that, in the minutia of the different labels and stuff that I don't know, or he turns me on to a lot of them. This is one of them. It's called Drunk Dial Records. This guy puts out cassettes, punk rock bands. It's pretty awesome, and he does this compilation called Fakes on Fakes. And what it is you as a band have to act as a fake band and play one of their fake songs. Now, in that, what I mean is you have to take a band that exists in media and somehow in the movies or in a television show or series, a band that doesn't exist in real life. It's made for the movie. It's made up for the show. I mean, the best, easiest example is Spinal Tap. That's not a real band. They play many, many, many songs, and you can even buy all of those songs on a record, but those weren't released, with the intention of them being a band. It's for the movie. So that's what it is. So there's been two releases of this. So we're going to be on the third volume 3. Chris got us hooked up on that, and we went through a few things. So we sat down and think about, we're like, what are we going to do? We just, wasn't something we had really thought about too much until we got the offer. And So I kind of came up with a few things. Chris did. We went back and forth on the email. Just hey, check out this video, check out this song. What do you think? What do you think? And ultimately, we landed on what we landed on. I'm very very happy with, because this comes from one of my very very favorite movies that you'd probably be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I don't know a lot, but it's from the movie Rockstar, starring old Marky Wahlberg. That story that roughly emulates the Judas Priest story, where Rob Halford took over singing for them. That, you know, we follow Marky Mark, who loves the band Steel Dragon. He goes to one of the shows in the front row. He sings better and louder than the singer, and the singer's like, fuck this, you sing. Long story short, he becomes singer of this humongous band overnight. So he's like instantly famous. And there's a song that they play a couple of times in the movie, one at the beginning, once at the end, called Stand Up and Shout. And man, I love that song. I love everything about this movie. But so that's ultimately what we ended on. Now, this song is a big, like, 80s, it has all the 80s stuff in it, you know, one chord, reverb, big drums, and then like a ripping guitar solo. And a sing-along anthem. And it's like, stand up and shout. Bam, 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 bam. Stand up, stand up, stand up and let it out. So, of course, you know, we have to do a punk rock version of this, an hour punk rock version of this. And at first, it was like, man, trying to sit down and rip that song apart and write it in our way was hard, because you kept going back to like things that sounded like the song. Right? The original song. We did not want that. We didn't want an 80s vibe. We didn't want anything like that. So finally, I kind of like started just fucking around with playing the chorus in this kind of like happy, weird, like upstroke way. And it was, that sounded so cool, and we kind of liked that and dug it. Then we were able to then write the verses around that, or, you know, or write our versions of the verses around that. And the song, we recorded it all by ourselves. We recorded it ourselves in our practice space at Chris's place. And you know, we were able to mic the drums separately. We were able to do some things differently that we couldn't do last time we recorded. And it turned out really fucking killer. Like, it's got a lo-fi feel. It's really punk rock. It's super fast. And I think, as far as like the, I guess, like, did you complete the assignment given? Like, A+, I think. You know, we took that song and made it our bitch, and it was a lot of fun to do, and I can't wait for it to come out so I can tell you all about it. Once it comes out, you can check it out. When I'm allowed to release it for play on any of our stuff, of course I will. So that same weekend, you know, I did that, and then, or that was during the week, and then we got to the weekend, and Ghoulish Book Festival was in San Antonio, Texas that weekend. And of course, Ghoulish is put on by Max Booth III, and he's an awesome author. He runs Ghoulish Publishing as well, Ghoulish Books, and then he has a Ghoulish bookstore in San Antonio. Great guy, very funny, very good writer. I didn't get to do this last year. I think I was somewhere else when it was going on. But this year, I wanted to make sure I got a chance to do it. Heard good things. And it's Texas, so, you know, like, I'll go back to Texas. All good. So Nick P, the great Nick P, and I he meets me, and we head on down to San Antonio ass early. Like, we left because it was this show was Friday and Saturday, not like the typical Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just Friday and Saturday. We had to load in at 9, and then I think it started at 10. And which meant Nick and I to leave at like 4:30 a.m. or some shit like that. So we left super early, but we had a great drive in. You know, we're chatting, we're cutting up, we're having a great time. We get there, and like, we can't figure out how to get into this place. It's in a historic building in San Antonio downtown, but it also, like, within the buildings, like, there's businesses now that I guess operate out of. So there's people going to work, and we're there trying to like figure out, hey, where do we go for this thing? Anyway, we waited for a little bit, killed some time. Finally, they got the door open for us where we needed to go in, and we went to check it out. The best way I can describe it to me, it reminded me a lot of like a small sized VFW hall, or Shriners Hall, something like that, right? In that it was we were in the basement of the building, but it was like cool. We were like chilling in the basement, you know. It was the room with the books and everything. It was a one shotgun kind of style room. The tables just went around the edges, and I mean, I want to say there was maybe 10 authors, if that, because there was some publishers there. There was maybe there were some comic book guys, but it was a small group, and I think it was very well curated as far as the differences and as far as spreading it all around and giving people a little bit of something different everywhere, and still managing to have the writers and publishers that still fit together, that still make sense to be together. So I commend Max for that. Great job curating it. But so we get there, we get set up. I'm digging the vibe. It's fun. But like right next to our room, like that room, attached to it, like a walkthrough area, is a bar. And it's like a bar in your fucking uncle's basement or some shit. Like it's like a VFW bar if you've ever been to one of those. But this is a little bit more, that had like a pool table and had some dart boards, and they had some neon lights. Sometimes you don't get any of that with a VFW hall. And it's just what do you have, But we were all set up and ready to go. And we walked into the bar. I was like, oh man, the guy was behind the bar. I was like, hey, can we get a beer yet? And he's like, looks at his watch. This is 10 a.m. And I was like, yeah. He said, sure, I guess. But we've been up forever, and we were ready to have fun. So myself, Nick P, and Justin Lutz, shouts out Justin, we definitely drank that dude out of all of his PBR for that whole day. But that first day, it went great. Like I said, I'd never done that event before. And also doing something that starts so early on a Friday, I was just kind of like, I've never done that before either. Because like, will people come to this early? Is there too much people at work, or what's the deal? But they promoted it really well. And plus, Max and Lori there with Ghoulish are tied, they're really tied into the community as far as like, the book community, the writer community, through their store. So they promoted this thing really well. Like they were on the morning show, San Antonio Wake Up or whatever. They went to a bunch of other like events and places where they knew the people who would be interested in something like this, they should promote to. And of course, promoting out of their store was a big help as well, because it was full. People were coming in. It was really nice. And it was a really fun day. I did one panel that day, and it was called Somebody Has to Die at the End of This Panel. And I thought we were going to talk about like who should die and how we'll kill them. And I'm not entirely sure we didn't talk about that. But it's somehow like it evolved into like a human centipede bomb, that a cum bomb was involved in there somewhere. And then there was just tons of cum talk after that. So I don't even know, honestly, if we talked about anybody dying or not. But it was a shitload of fun. So as the floor is closing, I think it closed at 6 or 7. I'm closing my tab at the bar. I turn around. I see somebody walking towards me, and I'm like, that person, that's familiar. That kind of looks like Code Man. And I took a double take, and that is Code Man. My man Code Man from Houston drove up to just hang out. Event's over, dude. We're leaving. He just is coming to hang out with us for a little bit. Love that guy. Love you, Cody. Shouts out. But we went from there to check into the motel room that I had acquired. And us, we stay on the cheap. We're not the Rockefellers. We got to find a good, affordable place. And sometimes you compromise a little bit of comfort with affordability, but it's always been something I can handle. Something that's like, whatever. It's just me, or I'm just sleeping. Nick and I have seen a lot of bad motel rooms, but this one, I think, takes the cake. It was the absolute worst. We get there, and the scope of how bad it was didn't settle in on me right away. I'll tell you why. So we get there, we get the key, whatever, we get in, and we already planned, like, Nick was going to go in, I think, take a shower or something. Cody and I were about to run down the street to HEB, get some grub, like some sandwich stuff, grab some more beer, and be back. So we just came in like, whoa, this place is gross, put the shit down and left. Came back, put stuff away, we're talking, and Nick's like, this place is kind of shitty, man. And I was like, yeah, it is. And then I was like, Oh, yeah, it really is. Like our refrigerator looked like it had been blasted with like I don't know what, but it was all rust, like somebody shot it with a bunch of fucking rust pellets or whatever. Um, Everything was just dirty. In the refrigerator, there was left like a half of a 2 liter of RC cola, half of a 24-ounce Modelo can, and the three mini white wine bottles filled to the top. All of them had already been opened, like unscrewed. The seal is broken, but they're filled to the top. That's curious. So, I take a more of a look around. The bathroom's pretty bad. It was really, really bad. It's filthy. The whole tub is just disgusting. Shit's falling apart like off the walls. There's two medicine cabinets for some reason that are like catty corner each other. They look like melting puke and snot is inside of them. And the sheets, towels, pillowcases. Maybe if you know this or you don't, if you see a gray stain on a white sheet or pillowcase or towel, particularly when you're in a motel or hotel, that stain is from a body fluid that they try to bleach out. Most likely blood. Or God, I don't even want to think about it. But so we had a lot of those splotches. We'd seen them before, but just for some reason it just seemed a little bit more skeezy. So, oh well, we suck, bro. I suck it up. We're here. Who cares? So we go. The next morning we get up, head to the back to the book festival, and again we had a really great day on Saturday. I got a ticket for a parking ticket, which San Antonio and I got to have a real frank discussion about this. It was a pay lot, yes. But the pay lot is behind the building that I'm doing an event in. And there was probably out of 80 spots out there, maybe a dozen of them were taken. The rest were nothing. Oh, all full. All full all the time, baby. So I was like, I'm not paying for this bullshit. They ticketed me, but we'll see. We'll see who gets the last laugh on that. Still didn't pay it yet. Or will I? Anyway, we had a great time, and I did another really funny panel that was called the Mystery Panel. And we didn't know what it was. Nobody did till Max got up there and basically made it like an exquisite corpse type game, which that means is, you get a certain time to tell your story, and then at the time's over, stop. The next person has to pick it up immediately. But Max put all these rules in, like you couldn't swear, you couldn't say this, you couldn't reference that, or if you did, it had to start over. And I was like the last one. So they had to start over a few times before they got to me. But I had some pretty good, some good zingers in there. And it was a lot of fun. It was a very fun panel for it being like the mystery panel. We all had a blast. Then we stayed for a little bit longer after the floor closed because they were having a mass signing upstairs. And some weirdo band played. I have no idea what the hell was happening. We were there for a very short time. And we left and went back to our room. Now, Nick and I are like, man, what are we going to do Sunday? The reason we weren't just leaving right away was because I had been booked to play at a place called The Mix in San Antonio to play an acoustic set. And that day was also St. Patrick's Day. So basically we had to stay extra because we stay all day Sunday. And then Monday, hang out until I played at 9:30 or 9:45. I think my set was going to start. Yeah. So we're all thinking like, man, what do we do? What are we going to do on Sunday? Well, the whole world will be our oyster. So we wake up, we go to sleep, we hang out, whatever. We end up going to sleep. And I guess I was tired because I slept long. So did Nick. Always sleeps long, but I slept till like almost noon. I got up and I was like talking to Scarlett on the phone, hey, I'm all right. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'll call you later. Take a shower and stuff. Click. I look in the mirror and my nose and all my forehead and stuff has these huge red whelps. And I was like, what what is this? And it's like just like tight and hot and bad. And then I'm like, what the fuck is happening to me? And then all my arms and across the back of my shoulders, those same kind of bumps were all popping up and down my fucking forearms. And I was like, what is happening to me right now? It was painful. It sucked. I was like, it was just all over. Like it took over this whole part of my face. It was hideous, Jerry. It was hideous. Look away. And all this. So I ended up being able to, like, I shot the Narnar TV thing. But I'll tell you this, if you could tell or not, I'm wearing concealer in that whole thing because my face is all fucked up. I'm like having a good time, but I'm in some pain. And then the next day, like, and I'm like vacillating, like, I want to go home. Of course I don't feel good. I'm like, fuck this. And I'm like, I gotta stay. I gotta play that show tomorrow. And then I woke up on Monday morning and I had taken some medicine. I had put shit on, I got creams and salves and all this. And I was already kind of hesitant and feeling weird because I was like, I know that this room did this to me and I have to sleep in it again tonight. So I did. And I was way worse the next morning when I woke up. I got up earlier and saw myself and I was like, fuck this. I have to leave. I'm not hanging around all day. I can't play the show. I look like, the Phantom of the Opera. My arms are all tight and hot and weird. And so I just made the decision there that morning and I woke Nick up and I was like, Nick, get up. We're leaving. He's like, huh? He's like, yeah, dude, we can't, I can't do the show. Look at me. I'm even worse. He's like, Jesus, dude. He's like, yeah, I know. So let's just go. So we got in the car and headed back to Houston, where I would go to Chris's house before I would go back to Las Vegas. And when you know it, we get about 10 miles and then we get stopped in like an hour and a half straight of just sitting there, traffic accident or whatever. And then we're going for a little bit, longer. We were stuck in another one of those for like 45 more minutes. So this trip that should have taken anywhere from like 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours took us like over 5 hours. So I was like miserable in the car. We keep getting stopped. All I want to do is get back to Chris's house and take like the hottest, wettest, foamiest shower that I've soapiest shower I've ever taken. And we just keep getting delayed. So finally we do get back and I do take that shower and everything is fine. But yeah, it took probably, I don't know, two-ish weeks for those to totally go away, for all those bumps to completely go away. They were red and left like these marks, but they completely did go away, but it just took a long time and it sucked. So if anybody's listening that was, wanting to see me play that night at the Mix, it wasn't going to happen. Sorry. It was like, I was serious. I hate to cancel anything, especially I was so excited to play that one. But I was in a bad shape. So I live to tell the tale. I'm here. I have no idea what caused it. I don't know if I was bit by something. That's kind of what I think. Maybe because I am allergic to ant bites. So when ants bite me, like if a regular person gets an ant bite, it's an ant bite. If I get an ant bite, it becomes like this huge fucking volcano of pus and redness. So it kind of was like that, but not the same. I don't know if something bit me. I don't know if it was just microorganisms from the bed. I don't know, but it was pretty fucking bad. And longtime listeners of the show know Nick and I stayed at a halfway house in Chattanooga several years ago. And this was worse than that, way worse than that. And for some reason, $20 more expensive a night. So, I don't recommend any of that place at all. I forget what it was called. Super 7, I believe. Super 7 Motel in San Antonio. That gets a no for me, dog, as far as a rating goes. So, anyway, like I said, we got back, no worse for the wear. And I returned home to Triumph once again and continue moving in to our new place here for, I think, 3 days until I had to leave again to head to Williamsburg, Virginia for AuthorCon 5. And that is what I will talk about to you next time. So thank you all for coming back with me, joining me as I come back in the new spot, helping me grow the podcast, grow the readership. I love you. I appreciate you all so much. Please go to johnwayneliedtoyou.com for all of your John Wayne needs and desires. You can buy all of my books there. Game Face will be back in stock soon. I know the coloring books are sold out again. I will have them back soon too. Those just go. So, which is great. But there's plenty of stuff in stock for you to get now. Also, all of my dates are on there, and all of my information, you could follow me at John Wayne is Dead on Instagram and TikTok. You can listen to John Wayne is Dead, the band, on Spotify and every other streaming service that you have. And I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
John Wayne lied to you.
Wow.